Good evening, YouTube world and podcast world. If you're listening to this on a podcast afterwards, hope you are all well. Welcome to the Toon Review, our second show of the day. And of course, it is the big one. Newcastle United, Manchester United, the preview, where we will be looking at possible lineups, tactics, how we are going to snatch the cup away from the Manx. And time is counting down. We are all very excited. The nerves are kicking in with a lot of fans, and it's very, very, very exciting. Thank you to everybody who watched our previous show with Keith Downey. I hope you enjoyed that. We've had some good feedback from that, so thank you very much. A lot of people quite liking the premieres as well when we managed to get guests on who can't make the live show. So it's really good to be able to do that. We do start on a bit of a sad note tonight, though, with the news of the passing of John Motson. Such sad news, dying at the age of 77. An absolute legend in the footballing world. Absolute legend. Just an incredible guy, incredible commentator, and somebody that certainly I grew up with on the TV for the BBC, FA Cup finals mainly when I was little. Billy, you'll remember him for a long time as well. Just an all-round football man.
Yeah, I mean, in that day and age when Motti started, and when I first started watching sport around the same time, we had some real doyens of commentary. The David Colemans of this world, Murray Walkers, Bill McLaren's, Peter O'Sullivan's. John Motson was one of those. And BBC had three actual fantastic football commentators. David Coleman was always the main man, but when he retired, John Motson and Barry Davies fought out between them who would get the main events. And although I preferred Barry Davies, John Motson was always the man that had the main events. Very rarely did you see Barry Davies get it. He did occasionally, but cup finals, England internationals, all the big games, European Championships, World Cups. I read somewhere he'd done 10 European Championships, 10 World Cups, 29 FA Cup finals. Yeah, it's an amazing record. And the man has got some legendary sayings, hasn't he? From we'll never forget the David Beckham goal against Greece. The commentary for that was absolutely astonishing. And we sadly missed when he retired, and sadly missed now also.
Indeed. I was the other way around, to be honest, Billy. I preferred Motti to Barry Davies. I guess it's just personal choice, of course. But I really did. It was the FA Cup finals for me that I sort of grew up with Motti, and having the whole day. It started at lunchtime, I think. No, sometimes in the morning for the FA Cup final, all the way through. So it was great. I mean. Alex, again, another one from the footballing world taken away.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the David Beckham goal against Greece. I mean, that was on my birthday, same as the Matty Longstaff goal against Man United. I'll never forget the commentary. I was a child, and it's a shame because commentary as of late is seems to be declining. There seems to be a general theme of people reposting sort of insane goals that are being scored, and the lackluster commentary that goes alongside some incredible goals. I mean, Maxi's goal against Wolves to start off with, an incredible 25 yard volley, just completely. We need some good commentators because the classic ones are going, sadly, and it's an area that I think could be improved, along with punditry. Alongside it, we could do with a shake-up across the entire thing.
If the BBC, ITV, Sky watching, there's two commentators right here who would like to give it a go. I don't think we'd be on air for very long, though, to be honest. Geordie Howie Man says, happy to catch a live Thursday show, normally doing it late at work. Ian Fleming, good evening to you. Spacebar, Jackie, James, good evening. Mark, Sophia says, is it just me or has this been the longest week ever? It's well, I don't know. It's ticking by. Billy, by the way, Billy, you'll keep us up to date on the Man United game. Hopefully there's Man United players getting kicked all over the park.
Well, Rashford just took a big kick with the big kick there. It's a free kick, and the ref hasn't given it.
Shaw should have already had a yellow card. They're getting away with it already.
Well, he has died. He has died.
There you go. Well, we'll see what happens in that game. Billy will keep us up to date. Let's hope it's a grueling 120-minute war that Barca win into this lot on Sunday. Marx's nerves are right here. Felt one till watching this last night. Martin says, evening all. Hope you don't get a copyright strike. Keith had Sky Sports on in the background. No, because it was you couldn't really see what was going on and the sound was off, so don't worry. I hardly think Sky Sports are going to have a copyright issue with us having a Sky Sports guest on. If anything, it promotes their channel. So, no, don't worry about that, Martin. Roger, good evening. Geordie says, looking at Bruno in the countdown. Come on Sunday. Mark says he wants Wilson to start. Spacebar says, well done on the interview with Keith earlier. Thank you. Shamrock says, good evening all. Watching on my phone from the living room this evening as I have Man United on the TV. Well, hopefully you'll be watching a long game tonight, a long, draining, blood-hunted game in which Man United limp off the pitch, they get knocked out, and they're really just, everything's just not good for them. But there you go. Kungo Fox says, the train doesn't get back until 2:30 in the morning on Monday. I'm going to be knackered, but pray for a win. That's all about commitment, though, at the end of the day, Kungo Fox, all about commitment. And thanks for this channel, because I live alone and away from my family. This show feels like a family to me. Thank you very much. That's what we try and be. Good evening to Wes. Bill says, Alex, I think you should look at the pictures that are the basis of your stats. It would give a better insight. Statistics alone do not tell the whole story.
In regards to what?
Well, I don't know.
That implies I don't have an eye test and I don't watch things. I mean, I do. I do both. Sorry if that sounds aggressive. It just feels like a little bit of attack. But if you can explain what, then that would be great, because then I can obviously reply. But that was very vague.
There's always going to be people who don't like stats, whatever world we're in. Shane says, whatever we think of Manchester United, it's going to be a very, very tough game. I'd be happy with any kind of win, not predicting any stupid scorelines. 3-0. Ian says, great Fleming, great video with Keith Downey earlier. Thank you very much. Roger says, I didn't like his use of the word United in the wrong sense. Look, I think that's just a journalistic thing. I think it is throughout. Even Henry Winter the other day had to correct himself because he knew that it would probably grate on us a little bit. But I couldn't give a toss, to be honest. I know who Newcastle United are, and that's all that counts to me. End of the day. Geordie Howeman says, the sheepskin coat. Yes, that's what he was really there for. Someone on Facebook's watching from Coventry. Interesting. Reveal yourself. KB says, a very good evening. Excitement is building fast and furiously. John says, even though nearly time, in under 72 hours, we might be celebrating our first trophy for 54 years and our first domestic one for 68. I mean, that's a long time, Billy.
It certainly is. It's before even I was born, so that's how long ago it was. A good 13 years before I was born, so.
Tom says, really, Billy, you preferred Barry Isaiah Davies?
I did, yeah. And Brian Moore, to be honest.
Brian Moore had his moments, I think. Yeah, he wasn't too bad, but he was ITV, wasn't he, Brian Moore?
ITV, yeah.
Yeah. Warren says, RIP John Motson, one of the best commentators on Match of the Day, would be a huge miss in football. Shamrock agreed with you there, Billy, liked Barry Davis more. Spacebar says, the days of impartial, unbiased commentators are sadly dying out. Dickie Davies, yeah, we mentioned that he passed away as well, yeah, on one of our shows, Martin. Bad week for the older ones, but it comes to us all, I guess. Nick says, we will never hear the end of sodding Hereford game. No, we won't. That will just live on in people's minds forever.
That was his first real big kind of moment in football, wasn't it, John Motson's? he travelled to the game with a Hereford player who scored, actually, Ricky George. Also in the stands that day was a reserve goalkeeper for Hereford, who also became a BBC sports presenter, although he's well known for the things these days, Mr. David Icke.
Yes, who has turned into a very interesting character, it has to be said, to say the absolute least. Jandals, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. He says, hello, Paul. You will see me on Wembley Way. I will have a black and white top one. Well, okay. You and thousands others. Warren says, even though hope all is well, can't wait for Sunday. It's going to be a weekend to remember. I got my T-shirt, Paul, this week as well. Love it. Thank you so much. No problem, Warren. And, Billy and Alex are both wearing theirs tonight, which I know it seems like a big shock to people that they're actually in white and not black. So Billy's got black underneath. Yeah, there's a surprise. Do you never put the heating on in your bloody house, Billy?
No, it's about 20 quid an hour.
Well, yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
It's too expensive. I've got a little mini cost-effective heater down here.
Yeah. Peter says, Paul, do you know the Geordie dancer? He's from Sacriston. Actually, I don't. I really don't. So I've never seen him kicking about. Tom says John Motson was a far better commentator than Martin Tyler, who just rambles these days. I think Martin Tyler needs to retire, to be honest. I really do. Richard says
he's been going since the mid-70s, Martin Tyler. I mean, he started off Yorkshire TV, then he went to Granada and Geraldton, started a great commentator, went to the BBC. Much better than them days, but he used to commentate on England when ITV didn't have the games on. If BBC had a live England game, he'd commentate on the highlights on ITV. He's been going 50 years himself.
Good evening to Basil Brush. Rachel is having a very tough week. First, her mum was in hospital with a horrendous injury after a fall, but luckily she's okay. And her son gave himself concussion. So she's had a bit of a week in and out of hospital, but both are on the mend, I believe. So now Rachel's attentions can turn to, of course, the final, and obviously coming up here and spending it with the Toon fans. Chipper says 3 days till we win a trophy. Remarkable saying it. Good evening to John Green. Hope you're well. Northumberland Geordie says only one outcome on Sunday. It's 0-0, 98 minutes gone. Carriers takes a long punt upfield. The sun gets into his eyes, and the ball bounces over his head into the back of the net. Game over.
It's happened to a Man United fan at Wembley, a Man United goalkeeper at Wembley before, so it wouldn't be the first time.
Has it?
Yeah, Alex Stepney got beat by Pat Jennings in the 67 Charity Shield, I believe.
Wow. Well, Alex, I mean, we were talking with Keith earlier on about the redemption of Carriers. We're going to do it a bit differently tonight. We're going to go through what we think the team lineup will be together, rather than just give our own. So throughout the show, we'll turn to some comments and then we'll go back to the team. But I think we're all agreed that the goalkeeper is going to be Carriers.
Yeah. The club keep posting pictures of him in training, but not Gillespie. All the media attention is to Carriers. Obviously, the journalistic questions have been about Carriers. I think it's 99% on that it is Carriers. So, I mean, I've been watching some of Carriers in the last couple of days, and he's got some interesting features to his game. He's a lot more of a sweeper keeper than I remember. It's not actually a bad part of his game at all. One issue with his game is sort of very hard-driven shots, first-time stingers, just quick shots in. He's one of those that sort of he'll sort of save it, but it will drop in front of him as well. He'll tap it, and he'll have to go and collect. And there are a couple of people, and obviously the Man United squad, that are quite partial to a shot from that sort of range, like your Fernandez and stuff. Yeah. So, the defense have just got to be switched on to that. That if Carriers is going to drop a hard shot, you got to be there first, not the attackers. You've got to be switched on. Every time that the goalkeeper's about to make a save, as a defender, you go first, because you don't want to get somebody in behind just picking up the rebound. And hopefully he doesn't have that issue. But
well, I'm not sure whether Billy thinks it's Halloween or not, but
Penalty Barcelona. Penalty Barcelona.
Fernandes
Really?
pulling people as well in the box.
The referee
Terrible.
clearly doesn't know the Old Trafford rules. He needs to give a penalty, and Bruno Fernandes
Wow.
having a fight with the referee almost.
Is he crying, Billy? Crying?
Yes, he's got his kind of face on it.
Okay.
Well, the ref's given it, so there's no way that's getting overturned by VAR because he's pulled him to the ground. So 100% penalty. Fernandes is getting right in the ref's face as well. Go on, send
that
him
would
off.
never be given in the Premier League. That would never be given in the Premier League, but it is a penalty.
Well, that's interesting. But I mean, Man United have obviously got to come back now, so they've got to put effort in, haven't they? They've got to.
It's good for well, no, not necessarily. Barcelona have got to score this, and Lewandowski is terrible at penalties. So, because I watch the Poland games, he's not good at penalties.
So is De Gea, though. So is De
Gea.
Geordie Metal. Geordie Metal, thank you very much for your £20 super chat. He says, I can't wait to see Alex's white hair. Well, yeah, it will be quite white and be bright. By the way, while that penalty's being taken, Solly, if you're out there watching, or whoever it was that offered to, I can't remember because I've lost the email. Somebody offered me to rent a MacBook Pro with an option to buy it, and I think we'd agreed on it. So I can't remember who it was. If whoever it was, please drop me another email and we'll get that sorted out quickly. If you can do that, thank you very, very much. Has it been taken yet?
No, it's about taken now. There's so many delaying tactics from Man United. Now whoever the number 27 is just walked in front of the ball. The referee's booked somebody for time for
that's Weghorst, 27.
Yeah, it's not. It is Lewandowski taking it.
It is, yeah.
No red nose, a bit like mine.
Come on, Lev.
Well, this we really want this to go in.
He looks nervous, I've got to say, but
it's in. It's in.
Oh, you're ahead of me, Alex.
He gets a fingertip to that, and he just crept in.
Who cares? It's in,
God.
which means Manchester United have now got to really up the ante, which is good for us. Would-be Farmer says, I get the impression you don't much care for Manchester United. Would-be Farmer, you are very correct. We hate them.
That's an understatement.
Well, quite, yes. Colin says, I really enjoyed both interviews this week. Thank you, Paul and Alex. You're welcome. Of course, Billy would have been on them had he not been at work. Good evening to Jason and Tom Dixon. Pedro says, I had a dream. 1-1 full time, then Carrier saved the day. A lot of people keep talking about the penalties, don't they? And it's like
Man United fans, man. There's a bunch of people in this chat just saying, "Oh, it took too long to take the penalty. It should be retaken." The mental gymnastics that Man United fans do to justify anything is hilarious.
They are so entitled. The burglar's last burgle says, good evening. Great interview with Keith. Just finished it, then straight into the live show. Thanks for all the hard work to keep us entertained. You're very welcome. Thank you very much. Tom says he's hoping Man United get some injuries tonight. Yes. Good evening to Mr. Gallant, who's in the house. Barth says, I had a dream Bruno and his boy on an open-top bus with the cup. Oh, wow. All the dreams are coming in. Right, if we go to right back, guys, there's only one right back that's playing on Sunday. Am I correct?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Mankio.
Kieran Trippier.
Nice one, Billy. Just throw a curveball in there by all means.
Yeah, I'd definitely be Kieran Trippier.
Yeah. John says, regarding a welcome home if we lose, I'm all for doing something, as thousands who didn't get a ticket and travel to London would be able to join the vast numbers of fellow mags on Tyneside for a bit of a party. I don't think... John, I understand that, but at the same time, I don't think we should be partying for coming runners-up. I've never agreed with that. You know, when you, even as a kid, and or watching my kids in sports days and that, when they come and, oh, it's the participation that counts and all of this bollocks. I was brought up as to win as an ice hockey player, and I think a lot of people my age were brought up as to win. So I think I understand, but it wouldn't excite me going to an open top bus tour knowing that we haven't won the cup. It just wouldn't be right. We need to savor them days for when we do win cups, which we're going to do on Sunday. So it wouldn't be we're not going to lose. Would-be Farmer says, journalists say America when referring to the USA. Certainly, they are aware that there is more than one country in the Americas. Don't sweat the use of United for Man United. Exactly. I couldn't give a toss, to be honest. Bill's back again about your stats, Alex. I'm a mathematician, Alex. Problem with stats is they are not reliable. You are right. Your eyes are a better judge.
Well, I don't trust you then, because why would you not trust your own statistics? If you want to win £1 million and somebody offers you a 60% chance in a certain box and a 40% in the other, you open the 60% box. Like they make signings based on statistics in conjunction with how they play. I don't quite understand your point here. You're saying that they're important, but use your judgment as well, which is exactly my stance is use both. But a lot of people don't delve into stats as much as I do, which is the whole point of me being on the show. I kind of, because I like stats, I vocalize them and give some added context. Somebody says, oh, somebody's crap at tackling, but then I can provide a stat to disprove that. It's interesting. It's literally the whole point of me being here. So
he is the Morpheus of the Toon Review. I put it that way. Clive says, why do you guys think that Eddie Howe will play the team that has done so well all season, but certainly has not worked the last 6 games? Because the last 6 games, Clive, 3 of them have been without Bruno, and we haven't been able to play that way. So things will be different on Sunday. And it was very interesting to hear Keith's views earlier. Billy, I don't know whether you've seen it yet.
Yeah.
But when Keith started talking about the lineup up front, and he said that Eddie may stick to a kind of more better defensively player than Maxi. So if Willett doesn't play, he even mentioned Murphy.
I'd be very surprised if that was the case. I think if Willett is fit and they can guarantee that he's going to, obviously I can't guarantee it, but if he's not going to go down with his hamstring again, he probably would play. But even so, it's a big call because, hamstring strains don't generally fix themselves in 2 weeks, do they? But he seems to think he's going to play. So if he's fit, I guess that would be the call. Helps out Dan Burn. And we're still quite attacking at the same time. And then we have impact off the bench also, don't we?
Indeed. Call Me Swift says, Alex, without stats is like sex without another human. Still good, but not the same. We love you, Alex. Well, there you go. There's also some support. Lee says, you're looking good in your T-shirts, lads. Mark and Danny are going 2-1 the Toon. Devon says, good evening, Paul, Stato and Billy. Let's win this, guys. I'll be watching at home on Sky. I wish I could have gone to Wembley, but I'll be cheering and screaming them on at home. Absolutely. If you're watching at home, knock off the sound, the biased Sky commentary, which will all be for Man United. Put Billy on, and there you go. You'll have proper commentary for the game, as well as being able to watch it. White Rabbit says, apologies if already mentioned, but check out your season preview show. Paul, Danielle, Alex said we'd win the Carabao Cup. Let's hope their crystal balls were accurate.
Nice.
Did I say we'd win the Carabao?
Yeah, all three did. And I said we'd win the FA Cup, which says, fucking phone I'm going to be.
Well, Billy, that's fallen off flat ass already, but we'll skip over that rather quickly.
That's twice in 2
years. Yeah. Stu, good evening to you. Rich says, I did wish Keith Downey didn't keep saying United, though. Don't let it get to you. It's just a word, right? Just a word. Don't let it get you. That's just a common thing in journalism, I think. Jason says, watching from Birmingham in Alabama, over here in the States. Birmingham. Apparently. Mary says, Mrs. Toon Review, nothing can ever be too much, can it? I have no idea what Mary's talking about. Obviously, if we know Mary by now, it's probably something that we don't want to know. Shamrock says, as usual, the scum surround the ref trying to intimidate him.
They did.
Paolo, good evening to you. Laureus Sven Carius, Newcastle, all over the world watching. Fantastic.
Laureus Dan Carius on his channel.
That could be anybody, really. Dan seems to be I think I'll get a dog and call him Dan, just so I can just get it out of my system. JP says, as a show of love, Paul should give Susan his ticket for Wembley and pay for her travel. No, But I'm not saying that on a nasty way. I'm saying it because there's no way Susan would go. So there you are. Craig says he's really good with his feet. Talking about Karius, everyone judges him on one game. He kept something like 16 clean sheets the season of the Champions League. Bollocks, get over it. The lad's got better experience than most. Absolutely. And again, Alex, Keith alluded to it today. He is the fourth choice, but because Darlow would have played. There's no doubt in my mind, in anybody's mind, that if Darlow was still here, he would have played. So Karius, the experience he's got is fantastic for us, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely an argument to be made that Karius is possibly better than Darlow. It's really difficult to back that up. Obviously, we've seen him play 45 minutes in a friendly. But on previous experience and his skill set, it's very possible that he's better than Darlow. And as Keith said, to have a fourth choice keeper of that standard is quite ridiculous. Most of us, myself included, were whinging at how many goalkeepers we had all through January, and now it's kind of good. Although it's not our fault that they loaned Dubravka out to the wrong team who was going to be our opponent, and then Darlow as well. It's kind of just very unfortunate circumstances. But to have a fourth choice of that standard, who else in the league has a goalkeeper at Karius' standard for their fourth choice? Probably no one. You would imagine that every team in the Premiership would have an academy player or a very young goalkeeper as their fourth choice. Yeah,
interesting. Toon Gamer, I thought it was you, mate. Can you drop me an email again and we'll get that sorted out, buddy, please? The reason I didn't contact you back is we were promised some laptops and they haven't arrived, they haven't came, and the guy's not responding to me, so I don't know what's going on. But if you can do that, mate, if you drop us an email, we'll get that arranged, please. Because very, very kind offer. So thank you, buddy. And I'll speak to you via email very soon. Thanks, mate. Hopefully the Premier League refs will see that it is indeed possible to call penalties on Manchester United. The IFT pod, our good buddies over there in Australia. I was due to go on with them this morning, but unfortunately couldn't make it. Please save football by beating the Manx in this final. Well, that's obviously not Rob, because Rob is a big, he's a big Man United fan, but it's obviously not him. Just got to go and laugh at my Manc, mate. Yes, you do that, Rich. You do that. John says it'll be canny if United are taken to extra time by Barca. Go on. Indeed. Shamrock says, I had a dream the other night. Newcastle won 2-0 and Bruno got both the goals. Have you had any cup final dreams yet? Experiences? Out of body experiences?
I want Maxi to score.
Well, obviously you do.
Just purely because of everything. I don't even mind if he goes in the summer anymore. I'm just so exhausted with the whole argument with people who just clearly can't see what a talent and what a ceiling this kid's got. And it's just a real shame. I would love for him to win us a cup and then go on his merry way in the summer to somewhere abroad and smash another league up. Just, and then nobody can say anything ever again. That's it. Chapter's closed. It's like Shearer retiring from international duty probably a little bit too early. He just wanted to sort of go on his own terms. And I'd love Maxi to win us a cup, score the goal, and then crack on. Because then the haters can't really say anything. It's like, well, he won the cup. So that would be great.
Yeah, indeed. Rob C says, are you saying you slated your kids, Paul, if they did not win on sports days? Absolutely not. Sports days are a little bit different now than they were back in my day. I know that. And there's bloody rock climbing and everything at Ben's school. It's not my sort of thing, going up a height, as people well know. Craig says, no way should we celebrate losing. Imagine the bus going round while Doobs polished his medal. No thanks.
No, he's not welcome on the bus.
No, I lose. Well, yeah. Turpy says, can't be a great mathematician if you don't trust your workings, i.e. stats.
That's what I said.
I used to know a constipated mathematician. He worked out with a pencil.
That's horrible.
That's tragic. Jesus. Foxy says Barca get more decisions than Man United. They've been paying off the refs for a while now.
Well, Man United, interestingly enough, have only had one penalty against them all season in the Premier League, and now they're on They're on 1 already in this game against Barcelona, which is great. So
interesting. Yeah,
Fred's been absolutely atrocious so far, by the way.
he's been shocking. Yeah,
well, he's terrible anyway.
Do you want to hear an interesting stat as well? I know stats don't mean everything, as you kindly pointed out, Mr. Mathematician, but 53 yellow cards from Man United this season in the Prem, 1 red. I mean, it seems like a lot.
Red. Yeah,
it seems like a lot of yellows to not. I know it doesn't always equate to getting a red because it's over multiple matches, but still 53 with 1 red. I mean, I can count several reds they should have had in like just February. So that doesn't even include any of the other months of the season. They definitely get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, it will just continue. It really
they're 4th
will.
in the league for fouls as well. So they're getting away with murder.
Yeah. Sophia says, hi. I hate all that. It's the participation that counts. Rubbish. It's just woke nonsense. Indeed. Keith says, Alex is the Rain Man of football. Well, there you go. There you go. John says, you're spot on, Paul. We don't celebrate defeat, but it would be good to show our appreciation of our owners, and we wouldn't be going south at the weekend without them. The Brill. Yeah, but that's what, the end of the season lap of honor is for, John, to be fair. The way they did it last season as well. We didn't win anything, but by God, they knew how we felt about them with that lap of honor. But look, I just want us to win the game. I want us to win this cup so bad, just to put to bed all this crap about, you haven't won a major trophy since blah, blah, blah. And we can stick it up a lot of people's asses, including Sunderland, Man United, Everton, everybody. But to be honest, there'll be a lot of support there from all over the country for us on Sunday because not many people like Manchester United. So
but it'd be good to get a cup win out of the way early as well, or just any trophy win, because there's the potential for it to become a bit of a mental block. The media like to exacerbate this with the Klopp not winning finals. Yeah. Obviously, they then went on to win lots of finals, but there was a time where it was a jinx. And obviously Tottenham, everybody makes fun of Tottenham. So it'd be nice to win, sort of nip this in the bud early, and then it just won't become a thing that people latch onto as a mentality thing, because it gets frustrating. So hopefully we can get it early.
Especially as people are calling Man United's trophy drought.
6 years, it's a drought. It's terrible.
What we've been doing then, lying in Death Valley in the 78 degrees heat for 20 years. 50,
well, pretty much so. Billy.
It's making 68 years, mate.
Well, the last 15 we have under Ashley, yeah. Sophia says, Tom, I love Cobra Kai. Sophia, come on. Cobra bloody Kai. Mind you, Alex would probably look like somebody of Cobra Kai when we win the cup and he goes blonde.
That's definitely a bad shout, actually. I probably would.
Yeah. Mark says, all the very best Newcastle fans and team have a smashing weekend from a Cherries fan. Well, we definitely know Bournemouth fans will be on our side on Sunday. Thanks very much, Mark. Mark's a viewer of the channel anyway, so it's very nice of him to say that. I've seen Loris Karas's middle name is Sven, but I think it's actually Dan. Yeah, if it is Sven, it is Dan, because Sven is... Dan is actually English for Sven. I found that out, guys. Did you know that? So every time I've been saying Dan Botman, I've been pronouncing his name perfectly. It's known as Sven where he comes from. Anyway, we'll quickly browse over that. Graham says hello from sunny Orlando. Travoy, good evening to you. Hi from the Falklands. I would go for a 4-2 on Sunday, get early goals, and then change after.
He's saying 4-4-2, not 4-2.
4-4-2.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, not score.
I didn't see the other four. Thanks, guys, for putting me right again. My glasses are shockingly bad. Right, now, you guys on the screen will know that Susan has been making up T-shirts for you. And we've had them on the screen. People have seen the T-shirts that will be coming out for Billy and Alex sometime in the next couple of weeks onto our merchandise site. Due to popular demand. Now, can you two possibly think what Susan's been doing behind the scenes? Take away the bald head that I did the other day. But what's the main one that people want to see?
Yeah, I've seen it.
On a
so I
t-shirt.
know.
We've seen it, haven't we?
We've seen it.
Oh, I forgot you have, haven't you? Yeah. I mean, what did you think of it, guys?
I thought
Don't
it's
tell
fantastic.
anybody what it is, because I'm going to put it on the screen in a minute. Bearing in mind, Susan's been working till all hours of the morning for the last few days putting this on.
I mean, it's amazing. It's less football related. It'll only be viewers of who have been sort of mid to long term viewers of the channel and who understand the inside jokes that would get the t-shirt. But it is good. She's done a great job on it.
Right. I'm going to show you the actual design first, and then I'll show you what it looks like on a t-shirt.
You'll have to put the clip up as well, and then it will make sense.
I don't have the clip, unfortunately. I will find the clip again. I'm sure Susan's got the clip anyway, so we'll put it back on the channel soon. But this is the design that Susan has made. Oh, look, you can't see it very well because it's a PNG. Right. Anyway, Billy stroking the camel. Anyway, that's what it looks like on a t-shirt, guys. I mean, it's wrong in every way. It really is. But I know a lot of our long-term subscribers will love that shirt for obvious reasons, because it licked me face, Susan. We will show you the clip. Obviously, I'll get that on. Try and get that on TTR Friday tomorrow night so people can see what it's related to. God help us all. Jordy Boy says, Paul, are you good at lottery numbers? Absolutely not. If I was good at lottery numbers, I probably wouldn't be sitting here now trying to earn a living, my friend. Would-be Farmer says, the one in Alabama should be called Birmingham Junior. Oh, dear. Do we have a little American spat going on there? Or Bill's back again, Alex, Mr. Mathematician, who is a member of the channel, so be nice to him. Don't disagree with stats, Alex. You just have to be aware of their limitations. Just thought some examples showing particular examples would enhance your work. I mean, well, you know what it is. Hang on, Alex. Hang on. Before you answer that, I think, Bill, you will see when Alex gets a better computer than the dud piece of shit that he's got at the minute, you will find that he will back up these stats with all sorts of stuff. So, because he'll be able to share his screen again without him sort of going into police academy mode where it looks like he's speaking, but nothing's coming out until 5 minutes later. I mean, so,
in my defense, that there are certain stats that when I quote them, I do say, well, we'll have to watch that because that's not how I remember it. So a great example is like the Joe Willock and aerial duels thing. I noticed that he was just constantly a 0 for aerial duels. Like at the start, I think this was halfway through last season. And so I was paying closer attention to it in game because it's a stat I'd noticed previously. So, you know, you're meant to marry the two together and use your eyes. And it's just interesting sometimes. Like there are games where Maxi completes 6 dribbles, but he does absolutely nothing. There are games that he completes 6 dribbles and he's ripped them apart. It's context. And I don't think we're arguing. I think I completely agree with you. I'm not sure. I think
these are on the same level in some kind of different way, which is a bit strange. My mind's bloody boggled. You two could have a lovely evening drinking together and talking about all this. You know, I mean, we know that Alex, you know, he doesn't see like we see. He sees like the Matrix with stats just coming down in front of his eyes for 24 hours.
But sometimes they're really relevant. Like I was alluding to the fact in our Liverpool preview before the Liverpool match that their cheeky little long balls are really dangerous. And what's the goal we concede? Was a little dink over the top. Nunez, bang, goal. Like, we called this in the preview show that it's a threat and they've switched to long ball. Whereas a lot of people who haven't watched much Liverpool remember them from a few years ago just being very possession-based and you know, that's not how they play anymore. They're very high up. I think they're first in the league for long balls. And, you know, as you saw against us, that's how they scored.
Yeah. David Smith, thank you for your £4.99 super chat. He says, I hope this helps calm some nerves. I got my old Sabutio out of the loft and played the match, and we won 7-0. Was Andrew DB part of that match by any chance? Because he's been itching for a 7-0 for 2 years now. So
what a time for it to come true, though. What a time. Imagine.
No, speaking of Andrew, he's there. So you'll have seen that. Adam says, I live in Manchester and called my friends the entitled ones today. Their response was, you're not even the biggest club in the Northeast. I hope you smash these. Well, that's just incorrect, isn't it? Because we are the biggest club in the Northeast. You know, statistically and by how many people we get in our stadium week in, week out. We don't have empty seats, unlike our friends down the road. And as for Middlesbrough, they're just a small town in Yorkshire. They're not even part of the Northeast. They're Yorkshire. Let's get that right. So tell them, from me, Adam, to go and take the faces for a big shite.
Of course, so Whiskey knows, the ex-manager Whiskey knows, Taggart. Good friend with Bobby Robson, but waited till he passed away before he called us a small club in the Northeast. So there was a lot of contempt for us down Manchester way. Salford way, I should say.
John says, is anyone else worried there'll be more Mancs in the stadium than Mags? It was shocking in 1999.
It was,
Look, probably, John, but look, we'll outsing them. We know we'll do that because...
Yeah, it'll be less so because in 99, of course, FA Cup final tickets are shared between the two clubs and every other club that's FA affiliated, which means Sunday League teams, everything. And of course, Man United fans were picking up the tickets from the local pub team, things like that. Well,
mainly around the London area, Billy, where all the Sunday leagues played on parks and stuff in London. Man United gathering tickets up right on their front door. So interesting. Craig says you don't get to play in the Champions League final if you're shite. If you're trying to say Darlow is better, you know nothing. Absolutely, Craig. I think Karius is a better goalkeeper than Darlow, and I think it's just. Look, you can't argue that. He is a better goalkeeper. The problem is with Karius, Billy, is... am I on a freaking ghost train on this show or something?
Barcelona cut Man United to shreds here, I've got to say.
Good.
Absolutely cut them to shreds.
Good. It'll wear them out. They're chasing the ball all game. That'll suit us. Anyway, Billy, as I alluded to there, just... Karius, everybody talks about the cup final, the Champions League final. They don't look at what he did that season with all the clean sheets he got and things like that. And let's be honest, Liverpool's defense wasn't brilliant. Okay, but he made some crucial saves that season. And I still, maintain the fact that he took a blow at the side of the head and he suffered a bit of concussion. And I have a feeling that if concussion protocol was here now or back then, he would have been taken off. They wouldn't have allowed him to continue.
Absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, at the time, that season, he was being touted as the next German number one, wasn't he? He was, he was performing miracles for Liverpool in the league. I think he had 16 or 17 clean sheets in the league that season. I think he had the most clean sheets in the Champions League that season. It was how old was he? 24, 25, something like that.
I think he had 6 in 12 in the Champions League. 6 clean sheets in 12 games.
Amazing feat, really, because the quality of the sides that play in the Champions League, they ain't no mugs. And at the time, he was being kind of touted as the next big keeper. In Germany, have got some big names in that kind of department, haven't they? Ter Stegen. At the time, obviously, Neuer was
absolutely.
Peak. So it's kind of write him off on that one performance is a bit churlish, really. But since then, he has gone down. Obviously, it has affected him. There's no doubt about it because.
Well, it would, wouldn't it? He didn't get the backing. He didn't get the backing of his manager at the time.
No, he didn't.
And I think that was still really shitty from Klopp, by the way. But then Klopp now, sings his praises the other day, which it's crazy. Now across the back four, going back to the team, are we expecting the usual Burn, Botman, Share, Trippier? I don't think there's any. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, exactly.
I do still think though, Target's back in training. He's been in the last couple of training videos. I still think it's worth mentioning that it's an option to go to a back five. Obviously not at the start, but I mean during the game for whatever reason. If Eddie Howe wants to swap.
Well, if we're winning 1-0, Alex, with 15, 20 minutes, or 15 minutes remaining, do you think he would put another defender on?
I think he'd bring Target on and go for a back five, yeah. Because if you're going to go to a back five, you've got a few options of who you could bring on. You could bring in Lascelles and keep Burn as a left wing back, or you could bring on Target as a left wing back and obviously move Burn inside.
I would prefer that he did that, Alex, to be honest.
I agree, but I think it's unlikely, but I think it's just worth putting out there in case people haven't thought about it. That you never know, he might use a back five in the latter stages if it's good for if it's going well, and we just want to really shut up shop.
Now, Billy, our head mod, Rachel Lilly, okay, has clearly been watching you too much, right? Because considering she's our head mod now, she oversees things and liaises with Susan and things like that. She watches you a lot now, quite clearly, because Rachel says, I had a dream that was football related. Well, it had a footballer in it.
I wonder why you're calling the head mod. No, I know.
Oh. Do you know what it is?
You asked for it. You opened the can of worms.
Yeah,
and he went.
But I think my point has just been completely proven as well, though. To be fair, Rachel, disgrace. Dave Bullman, thank you for your €5. He says, going out to watch the match with the nephews who I converted as young kids to Newcastle by bringing them over to games. Be amazing to win the cup after the Ashley era. I mean, the celebrations. I mean, if we, coming out of the ground around London, coming home, it isn't going to die down for a while. I mean, it was funny what Keith Downey said earlier on today on our show that, when he interviewed Dan Burn, he says if Dan Burn wins the cup, he's not going to take his kit off all week. The strappings, the shin pads, the whole lot are staying on until the next game. But I have a feeling that some Newcastle fans won't even get home, Alex, in the week ahead.
Yeah, well, I think it's worth putting out there. Just be careful if you're traveling down and traveling back. We are still ambassadors of the club. If we're traveling, we don't want any horse punching or any of that nonsense. We want to be in the media for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. But yeah, it is going to be mental. Obviously, it'll be a party atmosphere leading up to the final, with nerves thrown in there. Let's just hope that we can continue the celebrations in a positive way afterwards with a win. But it's just going to be absolutely manic because it's not going to be restricted to just the Northeast like the takeover was. It's going to be, it'll be the takeover amplified by 10 and across 2 cities. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy.
Bill's answered back saying, don't get personal, Alex. I like your content. Friends. There you go.
Ooh, maths friends.
Yes, exactly.
Stats friends, actually.
Stats friends, which is...
friends.
God, it's like chess club. Oh, my God. A lot of people seem to have been having dreams about this final, by the way. I mean, Mark says, I hate the hate for Maxi. I love the bloke. I did dream he scored for us. And Bruno and Joel, so I'm saying 3-0 by half-time. Oh, that would be incredible.
That would be amazing.
Wow. I mean, the atmosphere at the Newcastle end, if we went in 3-0 up at half-time, I'd tune in to watch along with Billy, and he'd be windmilling live on camera. And
half-time at the Theatre of Nightmares, by the way. Barcelona still 1-0 up.
Yeah, they've got to go for the second half now, which is great news.
I'm getting wrong here. Hang on a second.
Why have Man United got no cards when Fernandes gave away a penalty? How can you give a penalty and not book how does that work?
I don't know.
How have they gotten away with that? No yellow
Barcelona, have they got 1 or 2 yet? I mean, there was a bad tackle on Martinez.
Zero yellow cards, 0 red cards. It says here.
There was a real bad tackle on Martinez that I thought might have been a card. But
how do you not get booked for giving away a penalty? Surely just by... Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Paul Taylor says, we love you, Alex. Kenny says, is the Carabao Cup a major final? Of course it's a major final. It's one of the 2 domestic trophies.
Since this year, it has been in my book.
If we win it, we automatically qualify for the Conference League. So
yeah. I never used to count it to me. I'm just be honest. I was one of those that called it a Mickey Mouse Cup way back in the 90s when I was convinced we'd win something soon, and it never happened.
I only called it a Mickey Mouse Cup when Sunderland got to the final. That was the only I called it a Mickey Mouse one. Tom says, I'll say this now, but I'm proud of the club and the city of where we are and who we are. We are Newcastle upon Tyne. We are Newcastle United, black and white. Oh, rallying calls are coming in now. Yeah, absolutely. Colin says, Alex is Mr. Stats and our Stato is great at it. Rachel enjoys Cobra Kai as well as dreaming about footballers. Stephen is actually English for Tom. You know, I mean,
you weren't going to get away with that.
Well, Tom, you know, certain things. I know you're the fountain of knowledge, mate, but just shut up sometimes and let me have it just for once. Shamrock says Sven is Dan in Geordie. There you go. Thank you, Shamrock. I appreciate that. I'm not going through comments about Cobra Kai. I'm really not. John says that night against Arsenal, Paul, was awesome. The performance, the atmosphere, the lap of honour, not appreciation for a change. It will long live in my memory, so we agree after all. We do, John. Exactly. Football United says, shout out to Stephen Featley, YouTuber who is suffering in a hospice right now. Yes, really horrible news about Stephen. And again, we just thoughts and prayers are with him right now, definitely. Well said. Sean, you're late. Disgraceful. Will you stop talking about bloody Cobra Kai? Clive's asking about is your partner going to be happy with you going blonde, Alex?
I mean, she only found out today. I'm pretty sure I've told her before. I think she's just forgotten it. So it is what it is.
Oh God! Honestly, we'll have to see. Everybody's putting laughing emojis for the T-shirt. Yes, that's class. I remember that moment, says Tooney Paul. A giraffe gaff would-be farmer. You have to see the clip, my friend. Timeless classics, says Geordie. How are you, man? Geordie boy says could have licked worse. Matt says nice work, Susan. Up the A1 says that's the one, Susan. Love it. Says Mrs. Up the A1. Turpy says it licked to me face. Wes wants please can we have a Whack'em Mac'em Snack Lacka Lackas t-shirt, please? It's a lot of letters for Susan to put in a t-shirt, to be honest, Wes. No doubt about that.
You want to snack on a Mac'em, did you say?
No, your comment, Alex. You know,
no, I'm aware, but that went even further.
Mac'em Schlackem Clapper.
He was up against him, Luca Lackenmacher. What came of his name?
Lackenmacher, I think, is who I believe has gone on to have a very decent season. So, maybe it was the gift that Alex gave. Mary says, well done, Mrs. Toon Review. Sophia says, can we have a Paul t-shirt with his face on? And underneath it says, interesting. Well, I only say that a lot, Sophia, because of these dirty buggers I present with.
You could have one that says, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on.
You were going to say it then, weren't you? You were going to say
it. Would-be farmer says Alex should be commended for his ability to access these statistics with a slide rule and an abacus. It's fantastic. Yeah. Ian A says, Susan, the work on that T-shirt was well worth it. I'd just say to put right that Susan is basically runs this channel. Who am I to say it? I mean, she runs the channel. She does all the merch. She does all the design, and she orders all the merch in. She's even bought stuff to make stuff herself. So you know, she's the boss. I sit in front of the camera and process the videos, but you know, Susan says jump, and we all say how high. Because she'd clip me. But seriously, though, she's got a talent there, and it's brilliant to see the reaction from all the viewers about the merch, and certainly the t-shirts that Billy and Alex are wearing tonight. The Living the Dream, they sold brilliantly, and that was all Susan's own. Yep. I mean, Billy, it's funny because I think, you know, going across TTR there on the top of your shirt, with the pulses is actually probably how me and Billy's heart rate is. I think it's, if we would have ECGs. But there you go. When we're doing the commentary, especially.
Yeah,
so she did all that herself. So, behind the scenes she's the perfect woman. Birmingham is a leading producer of steel in the States. Well, thank you, Jackson. I will sleep much better knowing that. Benakan says, never change Stato. Love your way of breaking down football. Wes says, please get the clip of Alex saying whack-a-macker. We'll try and get that one as well. Definitely. Right, moving into the midfield, guys. Who is going to be our midfield three for Sunday? I would think we're all agreed Bruno's going to be one of them.
Yeah.
Longstaff, another one.
Shooing. Yeah, he's a shooing too, I think.
Now, the question is, obviously, who's going to be the other one? Because, if Willock's fit, does Willock play there and he moves Joe to the left and leaves Maxi out? I mean, this is a big decision for Eddie.
I think Willock starts.
You think he's going to start? Do you think Eddie's playing a curveball with him, like?
Well, if he is, keep down to give it away today.
Possibly,
it's just going by what happened against Arsenal and the fact that it worked so well. It was obviously it's not as good offensively, but it's about staying in the game. It's a final. It just makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's anticipating Rashford playing on that side. I don't think he will personally. I think he'll either go for the middle or on Manchester United left. But
I was going to mention as well tonight. So tonight, again, Manchester United have lined up in a 4-2-3-1 with the double pivot is Casemiro and Fred. And Weghorst is in the 10 behind Rashford up front. So this is 3 games in a row in Europe and in the Premier League where they've played this system with Rashford up front. I disagree with everybody, even Keith, I'm afraid. I don't think Rashford's going to play out on the wing. He's played up front 3 games in a row across multiple competitions. I think this is the formation now. I'd be shocked if they play a 4-3-3, unless they want to match up against us exactly, which is possible. But I think it's more likely they'll just play exactly what they're playing now because they've done it 3 games in a row. So
yeah. Carl, I'm not going to comment on the Nile Ranger situation, selling tickets. I couldn't give a toss about Nile Ranger. To be quite honest, he doesn't deserve discussion on this channel. Man United could be out of 2 cups in the space of a week. Yes. Technically, if they get beat on Sunday, they'll be out of the cup because we'll have won it. Alan says, did anyone go to the 96 Charity Shield? No.
I didn't go to that one.
No.
I was at Nebworth the day before and didn't get in until 6 a.m. to watch Oasis.
So Billy wasn't even awake when the Charity Shield was on. Ab says, you wonder why Eddie has left Karius in the cold or in his back pocket so far. He was effectively 4th choice. Well, I think that's
a good question.
It is, but I think it's just simply because the other 3 were already there, and we know what Eddie's like. He's very loyal to his players. Some people say that his loyalty goes a bit too far sometimes, but that's just the way Eddie is. But he's a hell of a keeper to come in, and with the experience he's got, as Keith said this morning, 4th choice is pretty good. Geordie Howe-man went to the 96 Charity Shield and got drowned afterwards. It was an awful performance, that game. Foxy says Karius is better than Darlow, but it's nonsense to suggest a player is top level just because he played a Champions League final. Oligawa was useless for Barca. Roque Jr., Jimmy Traore. My God, let's not even. Wow, yeah, but I mean, we're not talking about the Champions League final. He was good that season, so it wasn't all about that. Would-be farmer says, Billy, you are horrible and hilarious. Obviously talking about your pencil joke, but we'll not even go back to that one. Would-be farmer says, I thought Rach always dreamt about Francisco. Adam says the midfield battle with Bruno, Big Joe, and Casemiro will be interesting. We know Bruno gets feisty when he can speak in Portuguese.
So does Joe, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, they all can. But the thing is, discipline, Billy, is going to be a big thing for us on Sunday, because obviously Man United will probably be aware that, Joe Linton can, overstep the mark sometimes. Bruno himself can get into, can lose his temper. So discipline's going to be huge for us.
And I think Man United will definitely try and play on that. Bruno being out for 3 weeks as well, he's chomping at the bit. Does he stretch too far for a tackle? You can guarantee if he does and he catches someone, they'll be rolling around like gymnasts on the floor of the Olympics. Yeah, it's something that will keep under control, especially Bruno. I think Joe Linton, I think, has to have that little bit of deviling in to perform to his best, but in his enforcer role. But Bruno's the one I'm a little tiny bit worried about, especially with the kind of weeks he's had out. That he might.
It is worth remembering that was his first red card in his career. Although he's gotten away with a few bad challenges. I've seen a few Leon clips where he definitely deserves a red card, but it is his first red card. So,
Stu Moose says, I'll be watching the game on my lonesome here in Cork. Not many NUFC fans here, but I'll be loud and proud. Absolutely. John says, if we win, it will be an open top bus from Gosforth heading to the town moor. Nice to ask the question at this stage of the season. It's usually, can we avoid the drop? Yeah. Season's gone by. This time of the year, it's like, how will we get enough points to get out of trouble? Roger says it's not a domestic cup to be detailed, Paul. But, well, am I missing something?
What to comment?
Is it the Carabao Cup a domestic cup? Well, yes.
Yes.
If that's what he's talking about, maybe not.
Tony says he only called it a plastic cup when the Smoggies won it. Yeah, exactly. Tangy says, I dreamed Goofy Fernandez scored an own goal when the ball hit his teeth that was stuck in the ground. Brilliant. Ian says, Tom Lynch is Paul's autocorrect. Yes, he is. Very much so. David Smith is buzzing so much for this weekend. Come on the Toon. Brian says, evening TTR farm. Has anyone given a thought without Pope? We may have an advantage. Simply put, Man United already think they've won it. So complacency will ensure we'll catch them cold. Will complacency be an issue with Man United, Alex?
I mean, we spoke about this with Keith today about the fact that the goalkeeper situation and Rashford's form makes them confident and puts us back in the underdog position, which the lads performed brilliantly in the first half of the season when there was no expectation to be doing so well. They were just playing freely and playing great pressing football. It was brilliant. So, yeah, are they gonna come out a little bit too cocky? Possibly. I think maybe not complacency. I think it will just be entitlement. That they're going to expect the calls. They're going to expect it to go right. And I will expect them if we do challenge this midfield, which we've done the last couple of times we played against Man United. Let's not forget have been draws. The Joe Linton sort of resurgence started in that December with the 1-1 draw, and then we've played them once so far this season, and it was a 0-0. We're not going to go down quietly. We're going to make sure we contest the midfield battle, and press and be aggressive, because that's the only way. Again, intensity is our identity. It's all up around the training ground. They're not going to change now. So Man United maybe will get a little bit frustrated, but it's fine. We can be the underdogs. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Seattle Geordie says Paul takes a licking but keeps on ticking.
Man United just scored. Fred.
Oh, my God. Well, yeah, it's 1-1 now, so the chances of extra time are even higher.
Yeah, it's 3-3 on aggregate. So
yeah, and there's no away goals, remember, so this can go all the way.
They've brought on Anthony for the second half as well. It's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who they took off, though, unless you saw, Billy.
No, my streams were on Lacquer, so...
Wolf Ross, thank you for your 199. He says, how are the Bonnie lads? He is too smashing at Man U. Thank you very much, matey. Julie J says, also the dancing cow must be paid a tribute. Well, we would try and get Daisy on. I mean, but anyway, speaking of Daisy. Daisy, you've got to love Daisy, and hopefully we can get Daisy holding a trophy after we win on Sunday. Shamrock says, guys, what makes this channel great is the different personalities, and that 100% includes Stato. Honourable mention to Roy Jimmy and his squirrels. Thank you very much, buddy. People are saying for the midfield, Bruno, Big Joe, and Longstaff. So they're pretty much putting Maxi in. Sophia says, women are always in charge. We just let you guys think you have a choice. I can't disagree with that, to be honest. Arani Granny says, in the UK, Birmingham is a big producer of gang crime. Oh, for God's sake.
You're all right.
God. Oh, Jesus wept. Anyway, let us move on to the front three now. Obviously, Miggy's going to play. I've got no doubt about that. The left-hand side, what's the matter, Alex? Don't say Man United
scored. They should have scored. They messed it up.
Well, that's fair enough. I don't really care. As long as the goal doesn't go in, it goes to extra time. That's what we want. That's what we need. Miggy's going to start, obviously. I have no doubt about that. We've discussed the left-hand side. Is it going to be Maxi? Is it going to be... It all depends on Willock's fitness to see who will play there. Who is going to be the striker? Billy.
Well, watching what Keith said today, and I've had to think about it, and the press is Callum Wilson's game. The more physicality that the Man United centre-half don't like is Wilson's game. I think Wilson starts.
Interesting. Alex?
Yeah, I can't disagree. Regardless of what Henry Winter and Keith Downey have said, I think Callum Wilson deserves to play the final if he's fit, and he is fit. So he's been here for a long time. He was with us in the Steve Bruce era, if you can call it an era. And he's always scored goals when he's played. He's had a great record. He's improved in the last sort of 12 to 18 months. His pressing game's great. As talented as Isak is, his time will come. And I think Wilson just deserves this. You can't go on 3 or 4 weeks of just not being quite as good, because Wilson on his day is one of the most deadly finishers in the league. So,
yeah. But it's like Keith said earlier on today, though, it makes our bench much stronger. If we've got Maxi and Isak to come off the bench, it just gives Eddie Howe more options, I think, doesn't it? So, yeah, we have to take that into consideration as well. Rob says, you heard it here first. Rashford will not play in the final. I've hired a sniper. Dear God. Well, where was that comment? Tom says, Birmingham is what Newcastle might have looked like if the 60s planners got their way. Where's all the hate for Birmingham coming from tonight? I don't understand. Well, Arani Granny, I do understand, actually. Rashford is on the left wing, says Simon. Stiff Gator says, Howe would have been honest with Karius when he started. Karius knew what he was signing up for and wouldn't have stuck around if he wasn't happy with the setup. Yeah, very, very true. He would have known exactly. Darren says, late arrival, I'm absolutely shitting it. Not at Wembley, but the missus and little one are decorating the house black and white tomorrow whilst I'm out. Don't concede early, and it's ours. How are the lads? Well, you best of luck coming home from work tomorrow to see your black and white house. Ozan Kabak, he's played centre-back. Says, please lift that trophy at Wembley. I take it that's a Liverpool fan. Thank you very much for that. People are talking about 60s Birmingham now. We just go all over the place. We really do. Tony says, I've got to admit I'm crapping myself. Tom says the Charity Shield was a warm and sunny. As soon as it was full time, it threw it down. Sat on the train back from King's Cross, soaked through. Well, you'll have probably been reading your encyclopedias, Tom. Paul Tully,
can I just interject very quickly? Rashford's not playing left wing. It's Anthony right wing, 25. Is that Sancho left wing?
Sancho,
and Rashford up front. Rashford's not playing left wing. Rashford's playing as a striker, a lone striker, 100%.
Which a lot of people think you play there on Sunday as well. Paul Tully, thanks for your £5. He says Bruno and SM will have a cracking game along with the defence. It'll be tight, I feel, but 1-0 Newcastle. I still want to see both Isak and Wilson together. I only think you'll see that, Paul, if we're losing the game by a goal, and he will throw them on together. There's no doubt about that, to try and get back in the game. Darren says 5 times in my life we have been runners-up. Premier 96-97, Charity Shield 96, FA Cup 98-99, 4 of which with the Man United. Surely it's our turn now. I'm not a religious person, but I am till Sunday night. Oh, well, I think there'll be a lot of people praying. A lot of people praying. But we'll see. I mean, look, I'll be praying. Everyone on the ground will be praying before kickoff. Nerves will be down to the bare backs and bare bones. I shouldn't mention bare backs in front of Billy. That's the wrong thing to do. Jesus Christ, he's ready to pounce on everything. Not on the bare backs, though. Extra time is good. Less recovery for them. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Geordie Howayman says, I always thought that when we won a trophy, I'd go crazy, shouting, screaming, but I think I'll probably be too emotional, speechless. I think there'll be a lot of tears in the Newcastle crowd if we win this trophy, Billy.
No, I think there'll be a few here too.
It's
something that I have considered trying to stop it or whatever, but yeah, there'll be lots of tears. There'll be tears of joy though, which is a lot better than tears of sadness, which could also happen, couldn't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Shamrock says, I meant to say, watched the Bobby Robson documentary last night. Now, it was brilliant. Thanks for letting me know where to find it. You're very welcome, mate. Glad you enjoyed it. Very emotional, to say the least. Devon says, Daisy is a legend. Yes, she is. Absolute legend. Wilson will start because he can play the press, says Baz Down Under. That's what a lot of people said, to be honest, and he can.
Can I just ask something?
But Isak,
are we suggesting that Isak can't press? Because I think Isak presses really well. He's just not as physical.
Side of it. It's the physical side, definitely.
Yeah, but he still presses.
The
press isn't always about the final tackle.
But I think what the mean is
overall shape.
Yeah. I think what the mean is
10, it's not even the striker making the tackle. 9 times out of 10, the press starts left, and then the final tackle is normally put in by Miggy, who gets the ball. It doesn't mean that you have to make the tackle if you're pressing. It's about pressing together is a concept, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, look. I think what the mean is, it's Billy. Will you stop saying my name out loud? I think what the mean is, when he presses, he's got the physicality, hasn't he, to rough the defenders up, and he likes getting stuck into the physical side. I agree with that.
But I think if we just say general pressing, Isak can press fine. I think, but the physicality, yeah, fine. Wilson's a lot stronger at the moment. I would really hope that Isak grows into his own body because he's enormous. I don't think he'd lose too much of his pace or technical ability, but he could do with filling out a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Dave says, my young daughter loves the Daisy Dancing Cow video when it comes on. As soon as she hears the music play, she's over to look at the phone. Brilliant. Well, Daisy is... Julie J wants Daisy to be our Toon Review mascot. That's not a bad idea, actually. Andrew says, I don't care about Man United score against Barca, only who gets injured. Tony says, I'm tempted, tempted to go into Copenhagen and watch the match in De Glade Gris, which is the Man United supporters pub in Copenhagen, just to annoy them. It means the happy pig, which is quite apt. Wow. Okay. I'm just going for a pint down the happy pig. Interesting. Jay Jackson says Birmingham in Alabama is also a big contributor in gang violence, being rated the most dangerous city in America.
We can't mock other countries' pub names. Half of the pubs in the UK are just called Cock. So,
well,
I mean, that doesn't hold any merit, really.
That's a good point, actually. The Flying Cock, or
we've got so many of them.
There was a pub near me when I was young. It's closed down now, but it was called Cock of the North. Or the cookout. Anyway, Stiff Gator says, loves to see Maxi and Wilson get a proper go in a cup final. They were rare bright spots during the dark years. We'll always appreciate them for what they've given us. It's good. I mean, if he leaves Maxi out, Alex, it's a blow for Maxi, isn't he, considering how he played against Liverpool?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few comments saying that if he doesn't start, I think his days are over at the club. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think it's a very specific game, and it's about staying in the game more than anything. I think if we were 12 months down the line and we've got a more balanced midfield with a proper left back, I think that, you know, we risk playing a more creative winger.
Big punch up at the game. Big punch up.
Punch up?
Really?
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes, of course, in the middle of it.
Oh, he's lost a few.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm still waiting for that.
I tell you what, though, you punch Bruno Fernandes, expect some stitches off them gnashes, I'll tell you.
I wonder if the referee's going to get involved there. He should do.
Well, he should do, but he probably won't, Billy. I mean, you know how he... Devon...
Oh, Fernandes has got to be sent off for that. He kicked him and there's no ball.
Yeah,
he just booted Frankie de Jong in the stomach for no reason. He's getting mobbed. That's got to be a red, surely.
It looks like a yellow to me. He's got the yellow out anyway.
He's just run up and booted
Well,
him.
surely VAR's got it. Goes to VAR, surely.
Oh my god!
Yellow card.
We'd get an instant red. There wouldn't even be a
yellow card for it, and he's moaning about it.
I hate that man. You know that. I can't stand Bruno Fernandes.
He's blasted the ball at him. What he's done is blasted the ball at him. He hasn't
got to be VAR checked. Ref.
He's blasted the ball at him deliberately from about 2 yards away, straight into his guts.
Well, that's dangerous play for me. That's deliberately intent to hurt a player.
But he's also given away a penalty. He should be off. He should have had a yellow for the penalty. This makes no sense. Refereeing is a joke.
I'm just gonna. I'll honestly, I won't be able to speak after the game because not just the singing, but the absolute crap I'm going to give Bruno Fernandes. I hate him. I just can't stand him. John says he's going to shave his bum fluff if we win. Fighting Cocks in Chelsea Street, Paul. Martin, that's in Durham, mate. It's still there. It's still going strong, the Fighting Cocks. There might have been one in Chelsea Street back in the day, but there's definitely one in Durham. I frequented it quite a lot on a weekend. Guy Fawkes says there's a lovely pub near me called the Cock Insider. I don't think that would...
Paul only just got that. You just did a John Sinclair then. You've got to check before you read them out, Paul.
I knew what it meant, Alex. I just wanted to see Billy's reaction. And it's as expected. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Julie J says, give him crap from all of us at TTR. Oh, we will. Don't you worry about that. Billy, control yourself. Control yourself. Kevin says, Maximin has to start. He'll run their fullbacks ragged, and I fancy him to score the winning goal. Yes. Stiff Gator says, Billy is ruined. Yes, he is. He's completely ruined. He's lost the plot. He's gone. Ab says, pressing means cutting off the pass too. Yeah, it does. True. It does. We're getting some rather rude pub names coming in now, and it's all your fault, Billy, to be honest. I
mean, it was me that said it, not Billy this time.
Yeah, but I'm just blaming Billy because of his reaction, but never mind. Right. It is now prediction time, guys. I'm very interested to know how you boys think this is going to go. So, Billy, we'll start with you. What do you think the score is going to be on Sunday?
Well, one thing we know from Manchester United is you've got to be well ahead of them for them to give up. They never give up. They play for as long as it takes them to win. Sometimes they're allowed to play on as long as they like. So I think we're going to need to score more than once to win the game, and I think we will. I think we'll beat them 3-2.
Who's going to score?
I'm going to say Callum Wilson. I'm going to say. I think the set pieces could come into play here. I think Sven Botman may well get a goal this weekend. And I'm going to say Bruno Guimaraes also.
Interesting. By the way, you can put different spellings of Dickens all you want in the chat. It's not going to work, right? So forget it. It was said deliberately, guys. I'm not John Sinclair. Alex, what's your score prediction?
I think we're going to win 2-1. I think it's going to be 1-1, possibly even 1-1 at half time, and it's just going to get really nervy. And Billy's taken the goal scorer straight out of my mouth. I think Bruno's going to get the first one. And then I think Botman's going to score from a set piece because he's not scored.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What a friggin' surprise. Oh, dear. Yeah, look.
Great save there. Shit.
Okay. Should I read this one from Irani Granny or not? All right. Oh, Jesus. What the hell? Irani Granny says, I've had a few in the cock. The Wetherspoons bar staff weren't happy. Oh, dear. Paul says, God, I love this channel. So God knows why, Paul. 0-0. Foxy says, we'll win 13-12 on penalties. I could not take that for a second.
That means Karius has taken a penalty if it's 13-12, which
Absolutely.
is terrifying.
Man United not lose a Europa League final, but a score similar to that on penalties?
No idea.
Was it 12-11?
I remember Chelsea
10?
getting to that point with Kepa having to take one.
I remember back in the day, Kevin Pressman taking one. It was I think it was at Wolves in a penalty shootout, and it was better than the rest of his players. He launched it in the top corner. Apparently, Julie J saw a guy that looked the spitting image of you today, Billy.
Must have been Tom Hardy or someone. Or Oliver Hardy, I should say.
Billy!
Oliver Hardy, not Oliver Hardy.
Well, you just said I have a Hardy. I mean, look, Jesus.
Oliver, not Ivor.
Oh, God. Anyway, prediction from me, Christ on a bike. I really don't know how this is going to go. I'm going for a 1-0 with Wilson to score. I think Wilson, and I'd love him to score with one of the last kicks of the game because the euphoria would be unbelievable. Man United would be on their arse crying. Bruno Fernandes would just be, I mean, I would just laugh at him. It would be absolutely incredible. So, yeah, I'm going 1-0, but obviously I couldn't really give a toss what the score is as long as we win the game. That's all I'm bothered about. It's a cup final. 1-0, 3-2, 3-1. Christopher, I didn't fall for it at all. I said it deliberately. If you want to see regular things like that, go and watch John Sinclair because he's just the master at it. But Billy just lost the plot for a few moments there. Right, there you go, guys. That is it. That is the match preview. Bloody hell, it's not far away now. You know, I start my travels early on Saturday. And, well, the build-up will start the second again in the car. The scarf's out the window, the lot. And I expect to probably see quite a few Newcastle United fans heading down to London on Saturday. So, you know, stopping at service station. The buzz will be amazing. And let's just hope that the buzz is even bigger coming back because that's really what we want at the end of the day. And it's something we'll be very emotional about, very proud of. If we do a match review on Monday night and we're cup winners, then bloody hell, Billy might still be absolutely hammered. You know, it would be one of them shows. It really would be. So he is hoping. Here is hoping. We've got one more live show to bring you, of course, before the cup final, and that is TTR Friday. Now, I believe Billy's planning something special for this, a little video for us all to watch. So we're quite looking forward to that. God knows what will happen. We're talking about the cup final. We're talking about we'll talk about the fans going down. We'll talk about memories that people have of being at cup finals and what state they ended up in, or have you missed a cup final because of a certain reason? You know, you were drunk or something like that. It's, we'll get into that as well. So it'll be a blast tomorrow night. So join us at 8 o'clock for an absolute brilliant way to start cup final weekend. And then, of course, Billy will have the watch along on Sunday. I will be doing some vlogging videos going down there and just putting them up on the channel, so keep an eye open for them as well. But in the meantime, guys, thank you. You've been absolutely brilliant again. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to Super Chatters, all the viewers and subscribers, and, of course, Billy and Alex. You've been superb, and we will see you again at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Good night, guys.
How are the lads and lasses?
I was waiting for that.